Hello students, so today we are going to learn routing algorithm, which is the next point in the network layer protocol, and it is a unit 2 topic ISO OM model. So let's have start with the routing algorithm. Routing is a process of establishing the routes that data packets must follow to reach a destination. When you want to send a data from sender to receiver side, that data should be sent in a proper route. That route is decided with the help of network protocols. So this uh, path that we follow, we call it as a routing. Okay, so routing is a process to establish that route for the data packets. In this process, a routing table is actually used to create the actual information about the routes. Next thing is various routing algorithms are used for this purpose of deciding the routes for the data packets. So routing algorithm actually classified into two algorithms. First is adaptive algorithm, which is call it as a dynamic algorithm or dynamic routing, and second is non-adaptive algorithm, which is a static routing. So let's have first discuss about the adaptive algorithm. These are the algorithms which change their routing decisions whenever network topologies or traffic load changes. In the adaptive algorithm, the actual routing decisions can be changed with the help of algorithm. It is a dynamically change in the network route of the packets. So changing a packet routes is totally depend on the actual topology and the traffic changing or traffic load changing. This is nothing but the adaptive algorithm. Next thing is dynamic information such as current topologies, load, delay, etc. is used in this adaptive algorithm. Third thing is that we call this adaptive algorithm is as a dynamic algorithm. And the optimization parameter that adaptive algorithm used is distance, number of hops, and the estimated transmit time. How much time they require, what how long the data we send, or distance that data should travel, and the number of hops to be calculated. These are the four parameters are also considered. This is the overview of adaptive algorithm. So let's have the next classification of adaptive algorithm. Adaptive algorithm actually classified in the three types of methods. First is isolated method, second is centralized method, and third is distributed method. The name suggested as isolated means only one. So node the only responsible to routing the decision. Routing decision is done by the actual node, because the information that has in the node, that information used to find out the node, it could not seek the information from the other nodes. The disadvantage of this isolated method is that packets may be sent through a congested network, which may be result in the delay. There can be quite delay in the sending of packet. So isolated method is the in isolated method, each node makes its routing decisions. A node itself make routing decisions using its self information. It could not has or could not take any information from the other node. The second is centralized method. In the centralized method, the node has entire information about, or a centralized node has entire information about the network and makes all the routing decision. The only one centralized node has every network information, and he only that node only takes the decision of routing. Advantage of this is only one node is required to store information, but disadvantage is that if that node is um, goes down, the entire network is down. Okay, so that was the disadvantage of centralized method. Okay, so link state algorithm is referred to in the centralized information or centralized method. Next is distributed. In the distributed method, the node receives the information from its neighbor and then takes the decision about the routing packets. So in the distributed method, node takes the information from the neighbor and then he decide to find the route. Okay. Disadvantages of distributed is that packet may be delayed if there is a change in between interval in which it receives the information and sends the packet. If they it also known as the decentralized algorithm, because the node should get the information from the neighbor's node and it takes some time to calculate the information. Next is the second algorithm is non-adaptive algorithm. There are the algorithms which do not change their routing decisions once they have been settled or selected. As we discussed about the adaptive algorithm is a dynamic algorithm in that they can change their routing paths. But in the non-adaptive algorithm, it is a static routing. So you cannot be change route if they set the route. Then next thing is that classification of non-adaptive algorithm. There are two major classification method is used. First is folding and second is random walk. In the folding, this adapts the technique in which every incoming packet is sent on every outgoing link except from which it arrives. You understand? In this adapt technique, every incoming packet is sent on every outgoing link that which it arrives. What's the problem with this is that packets may go in a loop, and as a result of this the node has a duplicate packets. The problem can be overcome with the help of sequence number or hop count or spanning tree. So we can sequentially manage all the data properly. Packets is sent on every routing line or every outgoing line. Number of packets are sent to the destination site. So because of that, the duplicate packets are also made in the folding. Next is random walk. In this method, packets are sent host by host or node by node to one of its neighbor randomly. This is highly robust method which is usually implemented by sending packets onto the link which is least queued. In the random walk, as the name suggests, randomly they choose the destination, and the all node by node or host by host data can be sent. So it is a quite robust method to use. So this is nothing but the non-adaptive mechanism or non-adaptive algorithm. So here I have one difference between routing and folding. Routing table is required in the routing, but no routing table is required in the folding. Second, may in the routing may gives a shortest path, but folding is always give the shortest path. Routing is less reliable, but folding is more reliable. Traffic is less in the routing, traffic is high in the folding. No duplicate packets made in the routing, but duplicate packets are present in the folding, as we learned in the previous slide. So let's conclude today's lecture. Today we are learned about the routing algorithms. Routing is a process of establishing the routes that packets must be reach the destination. There are two types of algorithm. First is adaptive algorithm and second is non-adaptive. Adaptive algorithm, also called as a dynamic routing, it just changes their routing decision whenever network topologies or traffic load are changes. Next thing, adaptive algorithm classified into isolated, centralized and distributed, where isolated node makes its routing decision by its own. Centralized method, node entire information collect by a central node, and the distributed node collects information from the neighboring node. Second is non-adaptive algorithm. Non-adaptive algorithm which do not change their routing address once these have been selected. Second thing, it is also called as static routing. Third thing that we have remember that classification of non-adaptive algorithms are of two types. First is folding and second is random walk. Folding uses gives the information to every outgoing line. So because of that, duplication of packet is happen. Duplication is overcome with the help of sequence number, hop count and spanning tree. And random walk, it is a method where packets are sent host by host and node by node. So this is today's lecture. This is one of the difference of routing and folding, important difference. So go through with this, and if you have any problem